Hi, welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add PowerPoint slide transitions. Okay, let's go ahead and open up PowerPoint. And like usual, we'll click blank presentation and we'll go to File, Save As, and let's just save our work as we go along. So I'm just going to go to my desktop, and on my desktop I've got this PowerPoint slide. I'm just got a blank one here, so I'm just going to overwrite it, give your one a sensible name. I'm calling mine slide transitions-01. Let's click the save button and overwrite that file, and we'll press Ctrl A to select all of this content and delete it. So on my desktop I've got this folder, and inside of this folder I have a few different files. I have this text file, and I'm just using that for some text reference, some information to add to the pages, and I've also got some images as well. So you can use any pictures and any text that you like, depends on your business or what the slide that you want to create. So let's go ahead and select this title. I'm going to copy this, and let's just go back to PowerPoint, and I'm just going to press Ctrl V to paste the text. Let's move this up to the top because this is going to be our title, and I'm going to select a different font. I'm going to select this Arial black font, so I'll select that, and then let's make it larger, set it around 28, and then center it here, and then go to shape format and go to alignment, and let's set it to center align so it's nice and centered on our slide. Okay, so we want to add some introduction text for each one of the slides. We're going to create a few different slides so we can show you how the transitions work. So let's go to the notepad file, and inside the notepad file we use this website design overview. I'm going to select the next paragraph of text, right click and copy. I'm going to go back to here and click on home, and then make sure you left click outside. Whenever you cut and paste new text in, make sure you've deselected everything, then press Ctrl V to paste it in. I'm just going to drag it to the top section over here, click inside, and then I want to drag it across so it fills up some of the width of the page, and I'm going to select this lead generation and make it bold like this. Now I want to add the picture, so let's go back to the directory. So I've got this folder here inside here, and I've got some images, so you can pick any images you like. I'm going to pick this first one and drag and drop it into the PowerPoint presentation. I just want to line it right down to the bottom here like this. I'm just going to right click. Let's just get rid of this pane here. I'm just going to select here, right click, and I'm going to send it to the background. Send it to the back. So any text that overlays on the next set of slides, it will overlay on the side of the image. So we want to duplicate this slide. Let's press Ctrl S to save. Let's right click and duplicate once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 in total. So we've got 5 in total. Let's click on the second one. Let's go back to our notepad file, and this time we'll select responsive website design. We'll copy this text, and we're on the second slide, right? So make sure the second one's highlighted. We'll click inside here and select all, press Ctrl A, Ctrl V. We're going to select the text here and press Ctrl B to unbold it. Let's click on this picture, right click, change picture from file, and we'll click number 2 picture, and then we'll go to slide 3, and we'll go to our text file, copy this text. Let's copy this text, click inside here, press Ctrl V to paste it. Let's select this text, Ctrl B to unbold it, click this image, right click, change from file, and then we're going to select picture 3. Let's do the same for number 4. So we'll go back to our notepad file, let's copy this text, and you can put any text that you like, you can have any titles. Let's select this text, press Ctrl B to unbold it, click this picture, right click, change from file. You can add any pictures you like as well, so it don't have to be the same pictures. Let's click here. Let's close this design ideas. Let's click on slide 5, and then we've got this last bit of text to add. So let's select this, copy it. Let's go to here. Let's select this, press Ctrl V, Ctrl A to select, Ctrl V to paste. We'll select this text, unbold it using Ctrl B. Let's click on the picture, right click, change picture from file, and select number 5. Now we've got all of the slides created so far, right? So we have 5 slides, and now we can add transitions. Okay, let's go ahead and click on the very first slide. And the first slide for the transition, I just want it to fade in, really simple. So I'm going to click on transitions, select the first slide, click on transitions, and I'm going to select fade here, fade. So it's just going to fade in, right? Nice and simple. Let's click on the second slide, and now we can be a bit more adventurous, right? So you've got loads of different options here. You can do like pushing the slide, you can do it sliding from left to right, you can do wipes, you can do splits, you can do like a cut slide, you can do random bars, you can do like these slide covers, You've got this other type of cover. You've got these drapes where they kind of float down. I quite like this one. You've got like this curtain effect. You've got wind. So there's so many different options in here. If you click on the drop down, you've got even more. So you can click on these and experiment and see what they look like. A couple of them are quite interesting in here, but normally I'll keep them quite simple, but it depends on the type of presentation that you're doing and what that might look like. So you've got like these fly throughs that I quite like. This one kind of flies through like this. You've got these different ones. You've got all these different options. So now you can be very experimental, but I would say try and keep your transitions consistent between all of the slides. So like 2, 3, 4, and 5, use them consistently. And the first one, I just normally fade it in. That's how I do it. The one that I'm going to use today is in the drop down, and I want to select Vortex here, Vortex. And you can see what the Vortex looks like. I think it's pretty cool. I think if you're doing a presentation, I think that's quite creative. So I'm going to click on that, and there's a few options in here. The duration, I want to set that to 2 seconds. I think 4 is a bit too long. So we're going to set it to 2 seconds, and we're just going to click apply to all. So it's actually going to apply this to all of the different slides. So we'll click apply to all, but we want to go back to the first one and then click on the drop down and set it back to fade. So the first one will fade, and then all of the other ones will have this vortex transition. So what exactly does that do, and what does it look like? Let's click on the first slide. Let's press Ctrl S to save. Go to the slideshow and click from beginning. And when we click that, we'll see the first one will fade, and now it's waiting for us to perform an action. So when we left click, it will then go and do the transition like this. So you can see the transition like this. We can improve this a little bit more, so I'm going to show you some ways to improve it. Let's just see them all quickly. This is the last slide, and then it will go to a black slide, and when you left click, it will come back to PowerPoint. So let's click on this second one, and we're going to go back to the transitions here and pretty much leave it as it is. But on the third one, if we click here and select the drop down, it's transitioning from left. So let's click from left like this, and then we'll go to the third one and we'll click on the drop down and we'll do it from the right. So it's going to do the opposite. So we want some opposites here. So we'll click on the fourth one and we'll do that one from left, and then we'll click on this very last one and we'll do that one from right. So now they're sequencing opposites, right? So I think that's a bit more creative doing it this way. Let's click on this slide here. Let's just check them. So I can see there's some issues here, small issues that we can fix. So this one is 2 second duration. You'll see 2 seconds here. So let's select in here, select the text, just right click and copy. Let's click on the third slide and then paste in this 2 seconds here. This one's set to 2 seconds, and then the very last one should also be set to 2 seconds. There's a few different other options in here. One thing that I find quite interesting, imagine if this was a presentation, typically each transition of the slide, you would want to be able to control that. So if I was talking about website design and the first slide was about lead generation, I would show this nice picture, there will be a bit of introduction text, and then I'm presenting this information, right? So I want to control when it transitions to the next slide. So you can see there's an on mouse click, so it will only move to the next slide when I click the mouse button. So let's test that. We can do that by pressing Ctrl S to save, and then let's just press F5 on our keyboard. F5 is the equivalent of going to slideshow and clicking from beginning. You can see it says F5 there. Let's go back to transitions and press F5. So this is the first slide. I'll explain what this is all about when I'm giving a presentation, and when I've finished this slide, I will use my mouse button to left click, or I'll use my presentation clicker, right? And we'll left click and it will go to the next slide. And I'll talk about this, and it won't transition until I left click on my mouse button. So the left click is the action to move to the next slide. Now imagine if you was at, say, an exhibition, right, and you want to have some information sliding over, but you don't want to have to sit there and left click every time. That would be a bit boring, right? So we'll click on the first slide, and in the first slide what we do is we'll untick on mouse and we'll set a duration. We'll click after, and we're going to say after, let's say for example, this is going to be hours, right? Hours, minutes and seconds. So for the seconds, we're going to set it to 4 seconds. 4 seconds. So every 4 seconds the slide will transition automatically. So let's click inside here, press Ctrl A to select this information, press Ctrl C to copy it, go to the next slide, turn this one off, click here, and then paste in 4 seconds. We'll click the third one, click here, paste in 4 seconds, click this one, untick it, click here, paste 4 seconds, and we'll do the last one, we'll click here after 4 seconds, like this, right? So each one will last now 4 seconds. So if we press Ctrl S to save, this is kind of optional, this option. If I'm doing a presentation, normally I wouldn't do this to make it automatically transition. But if you're at an event and you've got a big screen there, imagine, right? Or if you're imagine if you've got a restaurant or a shop or something like that, and you want to create, you've got like a video screen there, and you want this to automatically transition, then you can use this function here. So sometimes when I'm creating these presentations for clients, and maybe it's a restaurant or it's a cafe, and they've got a menu that they want to automatically slide across, then you can use this technique. So if we press F5, after 4 seconds, it should transition automatically. So we just wait a few seconds and you can see, look, it's transitioning without me having to click the mouse button. This is quite an interesting way to create a presentation and have it automatically transition. This will be good for some sort of exhibition where you're showcasing maybe some of your work or your something that you offer, right? So that's another option. Let's just escape that. Normally what I would do is go to File, Save As, and inside the transitions I'll create a separate file and I'll call it transitions 02, right? And click Save. And this will be the 02 one. I'll click on this first slide again and set it to on mouse click, turn off after. Click this one, turn off the after and set it to on mouse click. Turn this one off and set it to on mouse click. Turn this one off and just reverse this logic, right? And then go back to File, Save As, and this time we'll save it as 01. So the 01 file is with the on click event and the 02 is the automatic transition. Let's do one last thing. Let's go to File and let's go to Export and we'll click Create a Video. And inside Video we're going to leave it to 4 seconds. We're going to set it to 4 seconds here and then click Create Video. And we're going to save this in the same location and we're going to call it 02 because it's in fact we can call it 03 MP4, right? Let's click Save. And down here it's going to show you the duration it's taken to create that video. So we have to be a little bit patient while PowerPoint creates this MP4 video for us. And this is another nice way to have the video playing. So imagine if you're doing this work for a client and they've got a screen inside their office or at their restaurant or their cafe, or if they're taking it to a presentation or they're taking it to an event and they want this to play in the background on a big video screen. So that if they don't have PowerPoint, what you can do is actually export it as a video. So let's close this, we'll save this, and let's go back here. So in this folder, we have the slide 1 and slide 2 PowerPoints, but we've got slide 3. This is actually a video sequence now. So you could give this video sequence to your client, just get them to set it to repeat, and it will just transition automatically and it will be video content. So they don't need PowerPoint anymore to play this video, and it can just sit there in the background continuously looping, because in this software here you can just set it to repeat and it will just continuously sequence through. So I think that's quite an interesting way. Then there's nothing stopping you from uploading this to somewhere like YouTube or Facebook, and you can put some nice music in the background, and it might be something to do with you know, showcasing your work or anything that you like, really. Okay, let's press the escape button. Let's close this. Let's close this folder. Let's go back to PowerPoint. Let's go to File and Save. So in this tutorial, really, we covered a few different things. I showed you how to quickly replicate slides. So you create one master slide and then duplicate that many times and just cut and paste your information in. That's a quick way to create presentations, especially when you want to showcase some work. The next thing that we did was to add custom transitions, and you should go and experiment with these transitions. Don't necessarily use the ones that I've used, go and play around with them, but I would say the first one should always be a fade. That's what I prefer, and then the other ones afterwards can be different. And if you use a different transition, try and keep them consistent. Don't use loads of different ones, it looks a bit rubbish, to be fair. Try and use like one transition and then just slightly tweak it by the effects here, right? And that's pretty much it. Now we've created two different PowerPoint presentations. One is with an on-click event. The second one that we created was with an automatic transition in PowerPoint itself. And then the third thing that we did was create a video sequence. So let's close this down. I hope you find that tutorial useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.